You have something you want to do that is different, unconventional, something out of the norm for you or for the people around you. It might be an unpopular choice in your crowd for them. They might be uncomfortable with you doing that. And why? I mean, there's a lot of reasons why, but I want to talk about how you go about going through with those unconventional things that you want to do and how you justify it to others and how you can make other people comfortable with it. My name is Charlotte. I'm a Gen Xer and I'm working toward retirement and making this part of my life the best ever. You know, people say, oh, why be normal? And people laugh, yeah, why be normal? But the fact is, nobody does anything about it. It's just a saying. But think about it. What is normal? What do most people do with their lives? You know what they do? They go to work. They go home, make dinner, eat, clean up, sit on their phones in front of the TV and scroll. And then they go to bed. And they repeat day after day after day after day. And we consume a lot of content and just keep putting it in and not doing anything. You should see my Pinterest board. And I have so many crafts on there to make. And I have really probably done maybe just a handful of them, if that. So at some point, if there's something that is calling you, answer the call. Answer the call. You know how you do it? You do it. So, for me, the plan to move into a camper, RV, whatever you want to call it, travel trailer, I've been thinking about it for years and years. Smaller, just something to try out. That's my good boy, Max. And, but I never did it. And so with this, I got it and, wasn't 100% sure, but I also told myself a backup plan, right? So if I don't like it, then this. And it was a pretty low entry into something unconventional. Although full-time RV living is becoming a lot more popular and trendy and is not as crazy a thought as it used to be, for good reason, because so far, so good. But here's what I find. When people, let's say somebody has a tragedy, right? Lose someone very close to you, or let's say you have some kind of horrible medical diagnosis, right? And you overcome it. And then you say, well, that made me realize life is short. And so I decided I was going to sell my house and move up into the mountains and start a yoga retreat, whatever the thing is. Not that that's really that crazy, but you know what I'm saying, like to completely change your life, to do a complete overhaul. And people are like, yes, that's good. That's true. Life is too short. You realize the value. How is it any different, the outcome, if you don't have the tragedy that comes before it? And the answer is it's not. You can have the outcome without the tragedy. And the tragedy would be going your whole life wanting to do something and not doing it. And it may be something like writing a book, getting in shape, something that doesn't have to be out there, but just the thing that you've always wanted to do and just don't. I don't have time, or people will look at me funny, or whatever it is. Who cares? The tragedy is not the thing that comes before that precipitates the action. The tragedy is going your whole life without doing the thing that you want to do. That's the tragedy. Here's some examples, some things that have been on my mind. I have a cousin, and she and I were very close. We both worked as court reporters, which is kind of an unusual field. I mean, it's not unusual, but it's not a whole lot of people do it. And at one point we lived in the same town, and so we spent a lot of time together, and that was in our younger days. And more recently, a few years ago, she met a man online and married him pretty quickly. And he lived in California and she lived in Texas. And so they were going to wait a little while before they combined forces and actually moved in together. But it was coming. And one day she died with nothing leading up to it, no hint, no clue that it was coming. She died. So she was a newlywed who didn't get to even live with her new husband. She was waiting. And I'm not saying that it's a bad idea to wait, because sometimes it makes sense. But I'm saying that you can wait too long and miss out on opportunities of a lifetime. Another one that comes to mind is a doctor that I was friends with. And when he was turning 50, he watched this movie called The Way with Martin Sheen and Emilio Estevez. Good movie. If you get a chance, you should watch it. But The Way is basically, the movie is about a pilgrimage that a lot of people take. It's called the Camino de Santiago, the Way of St. James. And it's a walking pilgrimage that people do. And it's, like a month-long walk, basically. And he watched that movie and he said, I want to do that. That's on my bucket list. And so he started doing it. And he and his wife did it. And another friend of mine and her husband, they did that walk. And every year, it was a tradition then that every year they would do a walk. And sometimes they would go there and sometimes they would go somewhere else. Really cool places. They would save up. That would be their vacation for the year. And I think about this. What if he had said, I'm going to wait until I retire to do this? Because here's what happened. 2 days short of his 60th birthday, he dropped dead. This was a man who was in very good shape physically, had his spirituality under control, but it was his time, and he dropped dead. And had he not acted on something when he wanted to, he would have never had that. His family wouldn't have had that. The people that eventually went on those trips with them wouldn't have had that. And I just think of what could have been lost from waiting in that situation. And we've all had people that have gone too soon, or that have had something happen. It doesn't even have to be death. I have an uncle who had a stroke, and basically it took away his option to care for himself, his option to go and do those things on his own that he would want to do, and really even to communicate what those were. And like with myself, I have an autoimmune disorder, and it's controlled great today, but it might not be tomorrow. And it's the same with anybody. I mean, you could be in the best shape of your life and be in a car accident or break a leg. Something could happen that could change your plans forever. And I think what a shame it would be to go through life and just wonder what if. And I've got a lot of those. And so that was one of the things I think with this season of my life, where I just want to try things. I just want to do and not worry. That's another thing. So I live in a really conservative area. And for a long time, I thought I needed to also be conservative to fit in with my surroundings. But guess what? All that is just more of the same. Again, we go back to the why be normal. That's not what I want. I do have a lot of traditional values, and I am pretty mild and vanilla in a lot of ways, but I also don't want my life to look just exactly like everyone else's. And I just think that the way you do it is sure, take some time, think about it, plan it out. Think of the best case scenario, think of the worst case scenario, and maybe have a backup. But no matter what happens, if you learn from it and you take some knowledge and some experience from this thing, you're not going to fail, okay? Don't do something crazy. Don't put your whole life savings into something you can't ever recover. Don't do something foolish. And you know, get advice from others, but don't let that be what you need for permission, because you know where permission comes from? It comes from yourself. So don't wait until you're totally ready. Just do it. That's part of the fun. That's part of the adventure. If you know every single thing there is to know about something and then you do it, well, it's not really an adventure, is it? And not that it has to be some wild adventure, but your life is an adventure. And we have a very low threshold for what we can, how much we can do with life and how much you can cram in and how much really you even need. Like how much adrenaline and dopamine does a person need? I don't know. I think I might have a little ADHD, so maybe I need some, but the thing is, all those weird little sayings that people say that I always think are so trite are coming to mind, and I'm mad at myself for that, because it's like, do it scared, you know, but do it before you're ready. You can be almost ready. Don't be 100% ready, and you're going to be okay. You'll be okay. Now, here's the part about justifying your decisions to others. At first, you might be very uncomfortable telling people what you're doing. And that's okay. Be uncomfortable. But tell them. And you don't have to say, well, I'm not sure I'm doing the right thing. I don't know about this. What you want to do is say how you feel. This is what I did today. I had lunch with some girlfriends. And I said, the place where I am is so peaceful and it's beautiful out there and the leaves are changing colors and I can see the river and it gets so dark at night. I can see stars and I just love it out there. And I'm saving so much money. And you know what they said? Nobody looked at me with pity. You know what they said? I wish I could do that. I would love to do that. And I believe it's true. I believe a lot of people would love to do it, at least to try it. But most people won't. Because it's not the norm and it's uncomfortable. So I say be uncomfortable. Be uncomfortable and then you'll get used to it. And people pick up your vibes. If they feel like you are making a sacrifice and hurting yourself to do something, then they're not going to like it. But if you authentically can convey how you feel, they're going to be fine. And if they're not, who cares? Because here's how you justify it. Here's how you justify any decision that you make to someone who doesn't approve. You ready? You don't. Because you don't have to. You don't have to. You don't have to justify it to anyone. And that's a big takeaway. It's your life. It's not theirs. They don't justify their life to you. Nor should they. So don't justify your life to someone else. Just live your life. Hope you enjoy it. I'll see you next time. Thanks, y'all.